Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my next class. Last time we discussed all the three stanzas of this poem When You're Old, and today we are going to discuss various poetic devices that are present in the poem. The first poetic device that we are going to discuss today is symbolism. There are various symbols that the poet has used in this poem. The first one is, just a second. Okay. Before discussing various symbols that are present in the poem, let's just understand what is symbolism. Hota kya hai symbolism? What is it? Symbolism conveys hidden meaning. What does it do? It conveys hidden meaning to its readers or the listener. Fine. See, if a poet has to convey his mood, his emotions, his abstract ideas, or his artistic expressions, he will use various symbols. क्या होता है symbolism? ये hidden meaning convey करता है. See, for example, if you have the knowledge of English, you'll be easily able to understand what is given in the lines. What does these lines say? What does each line in the stanza say? Because you have knowledge of English, isn't it? Lekin, there are so many symbols that are used in a particular stanza. And those symbols cannot be understood by everyone. The person who has the knowledge of poetry, the person who knows how to read, who has knowledge of various poetic devices and how symbols are used in a particular poem, he or she only can understand the deeper meaning, the hidden meaning in those symbols. तो मतलब हर कोई सिंबल्स में जो छुपा हुआ मीनिंग होता है वो समझ नहीं पाता. जिसको पोएट्री की समझ होगी, सिंबल्स कैसे यूज किए जाते हैं एक पोएम में, वही समझ पाएगा कि सिंबल जो है, जो कि यूज किया गया होता है पोएट्री में, उसके अंदर जो मीनिंग छुपा होता है, वो हिडन मीनिंग, वही इंसान समझ पाता है. वो डीपर मीनिंग जिससे पोएट अपने इमोशन, अपना मूड कन्वे करना चाहता है, अपने एक्सप्रेशंस कन्वे करना चाहता है, वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट आइडियाज विच आर वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर एनी कॉमन मैन टू अंडरस्टैंड, उन एब्स्ट्रैक्ट आइडियाज को इजिली समझाने के लिए पोएट क्या करता है? वो सिंबल यूज करता है. ही यूजेस सिंबलिज्म. Understood what symbolism is? Okay, let's move on to the various symbols that are used by the poet in this poem. The first symbol that has been used is the book. As you all know, poet wants Modcon to read the collection of poetry that he has written for her, isn't it? And what did I tell you last time? Collection of poetry is known as anthology. और जो एंथोलॉजी पोएट ने उसके लिए लिखी है, मॉडगॉन के लिए लिखी है, उसका टाइटल क्या था? इट वॉज द रोज. द रोज वॉज द टाइटल ऑफ द एंथोलॉजी विच Yeats has written for Modcon. ठीक? So the first symbol which is mentioned in this poem is the book, which Yeats wants Modcon to read in her old age. Now, reading book symbolizes reading someone's face. It's apostrophe S, okay? Reading someone's face. Matlab, see, poet knows when Modcon will be going through those poems, when she'll be going through that book in her old age. He exactly knows what kind of feelings and expressions she'll be going through. What kind of expressions will be there in her face. So he can visualize those expressions, those feelings, her emotions. He can understand her emotions and feelings. He can visualize the time when she'll be reading that book. तो रीडिंग दिस बुक, रीडिंग बुक सिंबल से क्या सिंबलाइज होता है? रीडिंग समवन्स फेस. Okay, the next symbol which has been used here is nodding by the fire. The use of phrases like nodding by the fire and eyes having shadows deep is symbolic of death and mortality when describing someone in their old age. Isn't it? Poet has discussed, these two verses must be discussed at the same time. when you'll be old and grey and full of sleep. ये वाला वर्ड्स जो है along with nodding by the fire, what does it interpret, what does it symbolize? ये जो यहाँ पे symbols यूज किए गए हैं, ये जो यहाँ पे words यूज किए गए हैं, ये क्या symbolize करते हैं? ये symbolize करते हैं first the old lady which is mentioned here in this poem, isn't it? And her old age. And her old age, and old age ultimately leads to death, isn't it? Like for example, we know we are young, we may be having 30 or 40 years to live. It is uncertain, although it's uncertain, but we know we can have that kind of a notion in our mind. लेकिन old age के बारे में there is one thing certain about it, isn't it? What is that? Death. Old age में कभी भी इंसान मर सकता है. So old age leads to death, which interprets mortality. Which interprets mortality. मतलब कि वो हमें ये बताता है man is mortal. It tells us that man is mortal. There is no one in this world who is there to live forever. ऐसा कोई इंसान नहीं है जो इस दुनिया में हमेशा रहने के लिए आया है. The one who has come into this world, he has to leave this world at one or the other time. Isn't it? Along with this old and grey and full of sleep, इससे और क्या पता चलता है? That beauty doesn't last long. ये old, grey and full of sleep symbols जो है ये क्या interpret करते हैं? They interpret that beauty doesn't last long. When a person grows old, he or she starts losing his or her beauty, that charm, that grace that the person had in his or her youth or in his or her prime. Isn't it? जब इंसान छोटा होता है, अपने यूथ में होता है, प्राइम में होता है, उस टाइम पे उसकी ब्यूटी कुछ और ही होती है, लेकिन जो ही वो धीरे धीरे ओल्ड एज में चला जाता है, वो धीरे धीरे अपनी वो ब्यूटी खो देता है, वो चार्म, वो ग्रेस खो देता है. This is what these symbols interpret. Nodding by the fire too interprets the death and mortality, because when old people sit in the chair before the fire and when they fall asleep, so the kind of action that they do unconsciously, they slowly nod their head. वो धीरे धीरे अपना सिर हिलाते हैं unconsciously while they are sleeping. Isn't it? So this also symbolizes old age. Understood? Okay, let's move on to the next symbol, which is fire. अब ये fire जो है, for example, during winters, if you sit before the fire or before the fireplace or hearth, what do you get? You get that warmth, you feel comfortable before fire, isn't it? Similarly, fire symbolizes, it interprets the warmth or comfort and the desire of an elderly woman for the fiery love she once rejected. When Maud will be reading poet's poems in her old age, so she will definitely regret upon her decision, because at that time her level of maturity, her level of understanding would be different. So through that maturity, through that understanding, she will understand the worth of the true love the worth of true love in this world, and at that time she will regret for not responding to poet's love. So जब Maud अपनी ओल्ड एज में वो बुक पढ़ रही होगी, वो पोएम पढ़ रही होगी, जब उसे मतलब ओल्ड एज में इंसान की समझ, इंसान का जो परसेप्शन होता है वो अलग होता है. उस मैच्योरिटी से, उस अंडरस्टैंडिंग से जब वो उन पोएम्स को समझेगी, उसे शी विल अंडरस्टैंड द वर्थ ऑफ द ट्रू लव. तो तब वो रिग्रेट करेगी, वो पछताएगी अपने उस डिसीजन पे कि उसने यीट्स पे, आई मीन व्हाई डिडंट शी रिस्पॉन्ड बैक टू यीट्स लव. उसने क्यों न कभी उसके लव को एक्सेप्ट क्यों नहीं किया. शी विल रिग्रेट फॉर नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग बैक टू यीट्स लव, फॉर लीविंग यीट्स लव अनरिक्वेटेड. सो दिस इज the love which was passionate, the love which was true, which was full of emotions, which was full of feelings, which was full of fire and passion. Fine. So this is how fire symbolizes its meaning, the hidden meaning. Secondly, the fire symbolizes One second. Let me write it here. Okay, next thing that fire symbolizes is Yeats' passionate and fiery love. Yeats' passionate and fiery love for Mortgaunt. The fire that is within Yeats for Mortgaunt, the passion, those feelings that he has within him towards Mortgaunt. So this is how fire has been used, the symbol fire has been used in this poem. Understood? तो पहली चीज फायर क्या इंटरप्रेट करता है, क्या सिंबलाइज करता है? That warmth, comfort and the desire of an elderly woman for the fiery love she once rejected. Isn't it? That passionate love that she once rejected. And she'll be yearning at that time. She'll yearn for Yeats' love in her old age, when she'll understand how much he had loved her. She'll long for his love, because at that time she won't be able to get back Yeats in her life. So she'll be yearning, वो तरस जाएगी Yeats को अपनी लाइफ में उस टाइम वापस लाने के लिए, but she won't be able to do it because Yeats won't be alive in this world at that time. And the second thing that fire interprets is the passionate and fiery love that Yeats has within him towards Mortgaunt. Understood? This is how fire has been used. The symbol fire has been used in this poem. Okay, next one. Mountains overhead and crowd of stars. Now what does one second. What do these two symbols symbolize? What do they interpret? It interprets something that an elderly woman can always see and knows that it's always there but never fully reach to it. Now, for example, stars are there. We can see them. We know that they are there, but can we reach up to them? Can we reach to them? Never. Can we touch them? No, never. Similarly, Mortgaunt will know when Yeats will die. As it is said, the man becomes a star after death. Similarly, Mortgaunt will be knowing that Yeats is there. He is there somewhere in the sky. He is looking at her from there. But she will never be able to touch him. She'll never be able to reach up to him. She can see him from the place where she is, but she can never reach up to him. She can never get that star back into her life. So Yeats will become a star. This is how mountains overhead and crowd of stars symbolize. एक ऐसी चीज जो हमें पता है कि वहां है, लेकिन हम उसे टच नहीं कर सकते, हम उसके पास नहीं जा सकते, ना ही उस चीज को अपने पास ला सकते हैं. Understood? This is what mountains overhead and crowd of stars have been used in this poem. Hope symbolism is understood.